Hello guys and welcome. In this video I will show you or I will tell you the top annoying stuff about this car. It's a 2018 M550i and there's few stuff that are annoying in this vehicle. Let me start with the build quality. So the build quality is subpar, honestly, in this vehicle. So for example, the plastics you can see here, these are all scratches, by the way, from the road, like nicks from stones, whatever you see. It's destroyed. It's permanent damage. This is not dirt. Hopefully it's visible for you on the camera. I mean, the whole headlight is like this. Even here on the side, the paint is pretty bad. Those rock chips, they basically, you can see they dented the plastic. It's all over the place. You can see here as well. It's pretty bad. And then if you go here, the paint on this car, let me see, there's here a spot here and here. The paint, you can see how thin it is. The layer is very thin compared, for example, if you look at my M5 here, you can see the paint where the chip is much thicker. It's much thicker. Mind you, this is a 2003. This is basically new still, 2018. So yeah, the paint is pretty bad. It's the paint here is gone. That's why you see the black, which is under the paint. And the cheap plastic carries to the inside. So for example, let me see, the mirrors here, you know. This here just does not seem very high quality. Here is good, but this one here is pretty bad. So they did not align it with, so you can see they did not align it with any material, so it's just the plastic, and it makes a lot of noise and it just feels cheap overall. There's plastic here. This is not aluminum. This is not aluminum here. I doubt these are aluminum. It might be, but the handles might be aluminum, but that's it. This is not aluminum. And then you have this piano finish, piano black or whatever. It's, oh my god, it's really annoying, and it gets scratched so easy. Let me see if I can. So I don't know if you can see, there's really small scratches, and this is from just cleaning with a cloth. Mind you, the dirt, but there's very fine scratches, and every time you clean it, it just gets scratched up even more. So I sort of gave up on that. And I mean, you clean it, you know, 2 minutes later, your hands, you know, your fingerprints, if you have if you put down a lotion or whatever, it's gone again. So you have to clean it constantly. And this is the first production year for this car, so I expect, but there is it doesn't feel well put together. For example, the Audi A4, the newest one, feels very solid on the inside. Like you can try that and you won't hear anything. Whereas in this here, you can hear it creaks. You see? And here the interior, the middle part. So hopefully they will revise that over the next 2 years or whatever. There's also like some sort of some noise comes from here somewhere. We are not able to find where it is, but when you're on rough pavement, it's faint, but you can hear it. You know. The cabin noise. I mean, the cabin noise is high in this car. Is honestly to the point is a bit too much for a car of this caliber, and I think that's mainly because of the run flat tires, and probably poor insulation as well. So those are 19-inch, 245 in the front, 275 in the back. 19-inch with run flat tires. There is no spare tire in this car. Well, you can say, yeah, all BMWs are like that, and actually a lot of other cars like Chevy and probably Audis and whatnot, they ditch the spare as well. I just think that's not a good idea. I'm not a big fan of it, but you know, it is what it is. But anyways, the RFTs, run flat tires, I think they make the noise worse than what it is. So the radar cruise control, this car has radar cruise control as standard, I believe. And as you're driving along, sometimes when you're on a curve, like a long sweeping corner, it misses the car in front of you and it starts accelerating all of a sudden. So there's some tweaks they need to make in the software maybe or something, I don't know. But it's not 100%. Reliability, so we had an issue with this car with the fuel ventilation valve or whatever, that it went out, and then the problem went away. But anyways, the BMW fixed it, and several cars were reported as well. So that's they probably redesigned it, and you know there's some sort of flaw in it, but they fixed it anyway. And we had a bit of an accident where a rock came under the car, so the steering box had to be replaced, the whole steering rack from what we were told, and the subframe and the strength or stiffening plate at the bottom. They replaced all that, but then the steering box broke down like a month later. It had a tight spot, so like when you're on a sweeping corner, it would get stuck a little bit. So they just put a brand new box again, steering box. So far so good, the car drives nice, but it had this weird noise that would come when you're making a left turn, I believe. You would hear something like if it's there is a stone stuck in the tire, but it's not the case. It's something mechanical with the car. It went away when they fixed it, but now it's coming back intermittent, which is very strange. So I don't know what it is, but anyways, we're getting the M5, so this car we're getting rid of anyway. The big problem with this car also, driving dynamics. So what I hate about it is the steering is numb. It's nothing compared to my M5. I mean, there's no comparison. You see how old this thing is? I call it my trooper, but there's the moment you're behind this wheel here, you can see the difference. It's like day and night. So the steering in this car it's numb. It doesn't give you a lot of feedback, and it's artificial. It's you feel isolated from the road like big time. The ride overall is a little bit rough on like my M5 has stiffer suspension, feels like, but it's much more compliant, so it absorbs bumps much better. It articulates the road. I don't know, it's very strange. But this car is jumpy, you know, it jumps on like bumps and whatnot. If you're going fast, it would actually jump. And yeah, it's very strange. And there is not, if you put it in comfort, it's just not really that comfy. And then in sport, it's good. I mean, it's rough, you know, not way too rough, but it's good enough. The body roll is almost zero. But there's not a big difference between comfort mode and sport mode, if you know what I mean. And then since this got the ZF transmission, not the double, not the DCT, the double clutch transmission. So they mimic the DCT, and it holds the gears. And if you're in sport mode and flooring it or whatever, or lift your foot off the gas, it lurches forward and backward, and it's a little bit annoying, unfortunately. One last thing is the safety systems in this car. So it's good, you know, you got the lane keep assist and whatnot, but it ruins the steering. So when you have it enabled, we had to disable it in this car because it just ruins the driving experience. When you have it enabled, it vibrates the steering. I mean, the moment you're close to the lane, it vibrates, and so it is the most annoying thing I've ever experienced. So that had to be turned off, like, for sure. And I'm glad BMW gives that option, because, like, oh my God, if it wasn't an option, then I just would hate this car with all my heart. Anyhow, from having it for almost a year, this is my input on this car. I hope you like this video and find it helpful. Overall, it's a good car, but got its faults. So, all right, see you in the next video. Take care.